You know, I'm not one to go touting out the praises of other open mic feature spaces, but I think I'm going to have to, because this next feature that we have has, and I've been there at Cafe Blue, and it is an awesome space. It's a tough thing to try to pull into, to pull off, but it's an awesome place if you want to be able to show off your work. And this woman, oh no, I'm not even going to talk about the open mic anymore. This woman is just freaking awesome. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for feature number 2 for the evening. Give it up for
Roberta Miles.
I'm like, let me see if I can even say it. Roberta Miles! You may yell at me, right?
We love her.
Because I'm so freaking tall. Well, no, wait, no, you're so tall.
Okay.
And I feel like I should just be like, no, you're you over here. No, I'm just so tall. I'm like, what the? Sorry.
And I
know Justin. No. It's not right or right. It's just the weirdness of everything, right? No, believe me, I'm like the tallest woman I've ever met. Oh, yeah.
There I was, working in a mental hospital. My parents weren't thrilled about it, but what did I care? I was 18, it was 1970, and I was trying to earn enough money to put myself through music school. I had plans to be an opera singer. So here I was with my own office, no training, and yet I would be passing out meds. It was a good job. I cleaned toilets, created activities for the inmates, and took crazy people on outings. The 3rd floor, the young people's floor, that was my floor. Mid-20s and 30s, not far from my age. Undifferentiated schizophrenics. That was the common diagnosis. But so many of these people seemed like me, or my family. It was the 70s, and we had facilities then, and those people weren't homeless, wandering around the street aimlessly. They had a place to stay, and everyone was on medication that I, 18 years old with no formal training, handed out. But it was 1970. Have I mentioned that? Rooms were sterile, with only beds and metal dressers. And everyone had a room. Everyone had their own bathroom. I never intruded into anyone's room. That was their domain, and I respected their privacy. These were my friends. Relationships developed fast on the 3rd floor. Patients were there not to exclude you, but to wrap you up inside them. It was very, very draining. The moment I saw his face, this beautiful angel face, I was hooked on a schizophrenic. He was a sculptor. During my shift, he worked in clay on a small bust of my head. It was beyond beauty. No more than 6 inches high and 6 inches around, but it was forever a memory. An attendant from another floor purposely smashed it. She took something beautiful and destroyed it. In my sterile office, there was a closet. In there, I kept meds and plenty of rubbing alcohol. I used that alcohol to clean absolutely everything on my desk, which was as bare as the rest of the room. In that locked desk were the extensive notes that I kept, and in that locked closet was the bust of my head, the perfect likeness of me. An amazing creation by a young schizophrenic man. Was that really true? To me, he seemed totally normal and very gifted. An angel with an amazing artist's hand and eye. What was it that determined that he was ill and the woman that smashed the head wasn't? Why was it that he was in the hospital? why was he on meds? Why not her? Why not me? So I took him home to my family. My parents didn't really want me working this job, but I was 18 and had already lived a lifetime, and I needed more training. So here, I planted myself in the greatest training facility I could think of, the mental hospital. And now I have brought home a new friend to begin my comparative study. Of course, it was a covert plan. In my sterile little office, people would line up holding out their hands as if for a drink of water or a small piece of bread. But it was the meds that they wanted. They needed their little white cup of meds. Their meds to make them functional. Little did I know that that would be my life. Little did I know that I would be taking their meds when I grew up. That long list of antipsychotics and antidepressants, a pill for each and every breath I take. People would take their lives. Bad things were happening when I wasn't there at the mental hospital. Feelings would wash over me, and I knew another one of my new friends was dead. Another one of my new friends had had enough. It was hardly ever fun at the mental hospital. When you can be so wrapped together with someone, when you are having a full-blown out relationship with a person you barely know, when these relationships are under your skin and in your thoughts, and the outside world becomes the outside world for you too, balance is gone. My place was there with them. The outside world became work. How to fit in. How to spot the crazies. I could tell with a brief hello. I liked it better in the mental hospital. I could get them. Lunch. That salad was the high point of my day. No one jumping out of the window was a high point. Gathering people into the social room was a high point. We worked together as a choir doing esoteric early music with me as the music director. Absurd, amazing, powerful. They enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was unstoppable about it, so it worked. I taught everything by rote. No sheet music, no piano, only my pitch pipe and our voices. How did we do it? We were great. We were wonderful. They were alive and making music. The shy and the withdrawn. I created fun. I created self-expression. I created beauty. They wanted a piece of that. We all did. My parents were always on edge. They didn't like the schizophrenic, not the alcoholic, no to the manic depressive. What about my plans to be an opera singer? Where was the nice, ambitious young man they were dreaming of? I wasn't looking for him. Couldn't they see that I was a healing force? These poor souls needed me. I could be a singer anytime. The truth was, I needed these people as much as they needed me. So the sculptor, he failed the test. He couldn't stand up to the verbal combat at my mother's house. He didn't even know he was at war. But I still had plans for him. After all, he was an artist. Artist trumps parents any day. The sculptor came home with me a few more times. Then he began to get sick. He was taking in too much information too quickly. He couldn't process. He began to study with the famous Swami. Instead of helping, it pushed him over the edge. He took himself off his meds and started to sink low rapidly. He seemed joyful, only he wasn't making any sense. Where he went next, I never knew. I never saw him again. I was sad. In my mother's house, one of my jobs, as I perceived it, was to keep it lively at home, so that just when my parents began to exhale, I came home with another new friend. This time it was the depressed male. All he talked about was how life had gone wrong for him, how things just got worse and worse. I was always thinking, but I'm here now. Your life has already improved. I found out that he was getting street drugs, belladonna, commonly known as phenobarbital. No wonder he was so depressed. And stupid, too. You just don't mix all that shit and continue to function. What a damn dope. Mr. Depresso, in his stupidity, told me who was giving him the belladonna. So I ratted out the supplier, who just happened to be the same woman who had busted the sculptor. An evil, selfish witch of a girl who didn't give a rat's ass about anyone. Turned out she was reprimanded, but kept her job. That was it, just a reprimand. She found out that I had reported her, and suddenly I was afraid. She corners me in the office, just the two of us. I'm ready for a fist fight, knowing that I'll lose. Instead, she kisses me. Big, wet kiss with tongue. Of course I respond and kiss back. I had never kissed a girl before. My life was taking another turn. I knew she had a boyfriend. What did she want from me? Kiss instead of kill. That's definitely a technique we could use to stop wars. Something different we could use in combat. Everyone just stop and kiss each other on the mouth. It's fun.
Had to be un-American.
It's peculiar and very disarming. Meanwhile, although I was finding it pleasurable, I was waiting to get a sharp object into my back, stuck into my back. I was afraid of this chick, yet I was now intrigued. I didn't like her giving out belladonna to sick people, even if they seemed cool and together. It was stupid. It was wrong. Get her a room at the hospital. I'll start the paperwork. Meantime, I was still kissing her. I liked it. The hell with all those loser boyfriends. I'm gonna start kissing girls now. Well, it just so happened that the maintenance man at the hospital was really a girl. I knew she liked me. She was the kind of woman who disguised herself as a man. You know, the keys hung out of her back pocket. So suddenly we're hanging out together. I took her to meet some of my most intellectual friends. I was watching her interact. My friends were cool. She seemed cool. She wasn't seeming so weird to me now. So I thought and thought about the possibility of an evening with her. My life was becoming out of control. But I stayed with it. Hesitate not. Maybe I would like it. Although I really liked men. A lot. But now was the time to try. Sweet 18. So we made a plan. Now I was free. I really didn't know what would come next. We went to bed together, very uncomfortable. Not the bed. Me. This was not the same as the kiss. This was freaking me out. She was a girl trying so hard to be a man, but she wasn't. That's what was so freaky. If she had been a sensuous woman, I think I would have responded differently. But I wanted out. I just remember getting the Western bus and heading home. My mom waiting at the door, asking the momish questions. I gave her the usual answers. Oh, she knew something was up, but she never found out what. I had to do these experiments. I needed these adventures. It was simple for me. I had to do what I did and to be who and what I was to become. Being an artist, there is an unspoken madness. That is part of who we are. Artists don't really fit in with society, but we do make an effort to be part of all possible worlds, including family. And interestingly, often it's the family you have the most difficult time proving to that you are an artist. It's forever looked on as a passing phase. Well, now I've had 2 lesbian experiences, and yet I'm not convinced about anything. So I arrange a 3rd experience with a woman who actually plays a woman in this crazy world I was creating, and she happens to be in relationship with the girl I just had the failed tete-a-tete with. This time, things went better. Things went well. I was able to be in charge. It was a thrill. It was about power. But having an affair with me would make the other chick very unhappy if she knew. I was trapped in a game I really wanted no part of. I just wanted the experience. Why so complicated? And if the maintenance chick found out it was me that this girl was messing around with, well, the shit would hit the fan. But I had to take the chance. It was part of the gestalt. Meantime, my real boyfriend, he was the manic depressive alcoholic, wanted to prove to me that boys were better. So I spent the very same night with him making love on an ironing board. How the hell do you keep your balance on an ironing board? Still, I was thinking about that sensuous woman that I had just been with. The woman that responded like a woman. The woman that wasn't trying to be a man. She was so beautiful. Her skin so chocolate and flawless. And she was so sweet. We were both novices, discovering, uncovering pleasure in a way I've almost long since forgotten. I often think about women during sexual intercourse, but it's not quite the same. Although it does help. So, back to the nut house for me. Remember, I just worked there. Who was the next man? What was the next adventure? It's amazing how much I accomplished still living at my mother's house. I was 18 and really wild, really. It was an agonizing time for me, but never let that stop you. An adrenaline addict, an experience seeker. That's what I was. Would I want to be zoned out, down with secanols, mellow with pot? No, I wanted to rack up the thrills, not the drugs. Who needed street drugs? I was already seriously insane. The nut house. The place was ripe with possibilities for a wayward girl like me. It never ended. A cavalcade of beautiful men. I had to stop. So I came down with a horrible case of mononucleosis. I was stuck at home and I missed the stories. Stories about invisible people, about the devil, about angels, about God. Stories about babies, about depression, about people from other planets, about happiness. Stories with real feelings, because that was all there was. I missed the nut house. I wanted to go back to work, back to what I had grown accustomed to. Let me hear those stories and write those notes, pass out those meds, and teach people about music. Let me eat rotten lettuce for lunch. Handcuff me to a crazy old man so that I could take him across town to the psych hospital. I want to hear him tell me stories about the theater of life. Taking 12 undifferentiated schizophrenics to the beach for a picnic, just little old me alone with them, that was reality. I didn't want anything different than that. The hell to my plans to sing, to perform. I just wanted to go back to work. My parents were extraordinarily unhappy. My getting sick, they saw as a blessing to get me out of the black hole I had fallen into, back to reality. Why? Was the hospital so wrong? They wanted me to snap out of it as if I could. Come back, little lost bird, remember the music? I went to work. Somehow, it wasn't the same. It was eerie. It was cold. I was assigned to another floor. These people didn't care about me. Wait, I was supposed to care about them. But I didn't. I felt lost. My parents had won. I hated them. I hated them. I quit my job, my beloved job. No one cared that I was gone. No one cared my eyes were gone. My eyes were gone.